Yeah, I think there's something about it that's incredibly important and very disorienting. You know, the question I always have the narrower question I have as an investor is sort of how do you make money with this stuff? And
how do you make money?
Hi everyone, JJ here. Welcome back. Well, this is Peter Thiel talking about AI investing. Who's going to make money? How do you make money? And his thoughts on the AI landscape right now. I've pulled out things that he said about AI and I'll react to them. So let's get into it.
It's pretty confusing. And I think, I don't know, this is always where I'm anchored on the late 90s as sort of the formative period for me. But I keep thinking.
He went through the late 90s .com bubble there. They were at PayPal, he and Elon Musk and others at PayPal. So they did go this. They made a lot of money out of that, but he did experience that. And he's looking and seeing similar things here.
That AI in 2023, 2024 is like the internet in 1999. It's really big. It's going to be very important. It's going to transform the world, not in 6 months, but in 20 years. And then there are probably all kinds of incredibly catastrophic approximations where, what businesses are going to make money, who's going to have the monopoly, who's going to have pricing power is super unclear.
Okay, so it's important to note here that in his book, 0 to 1, he talked about bubbles not necessarily being a bad thing because a lot of development is put in there. Yes, things get out of control, as he seems to be saying here. There are similarities between the dot-com bubble and now as he sees it, but they're not necessarily a bad thing. He doesn't say this here, but he has said that before because so much money, so much funding gets put in and things get pushed forward quite a lot, but also, there's a bust. Development goes on after that, but obviously he seems pretty wary of prices or investing at the moment. Let's see what else he's got to say.
Probably, one layer deeper of analysis, if attention is all you need, and if you're not post-economic, you need to pay attention to who's making money. And in AI, it's basically one company is making, Nvidia is making over 100% of the profits. Everybody else is collectively losing money. And so there's sort of you have to do some sort, you should try to do some sort of analysis. Do you go long Nvidia? Do you go short? Is it my monopoly question? Is it a really durable monopoly? And then it's hard for me to know because I'm in Silicon Valley and we haven't done anything in semiconductors for a long time.
When he talks about competition there and monopolies, he did do this talk a while ago that's on YouTube about competition is for losers. So he looks for those monopoly companies. Some say Palantir is that. He talked about Facebook starting off dominating a market and then growing in kind of concentric circles, dominating each market that they enter. So he does look for companies like that. And of course here he's talking about Nvidia. But he sounds like he's not sure if that's going to be a durable monopoly, even though it is a monopoly. I've seen this before, so I do know what he's going to say. And he questions whether it can be durable just because so many people know about it. There's so many competitors in there. They're so obviously making super normal profits. And so what happens in capitalism? Other companies come in and they try and take some of those profits. It's just too tempting. But how quickly can they do that? Does Nvidia have such a huge lead? Let's see what Peter Thiel's got to say.
But yeah, it's extremely confusing, where the gains and losses are.
Will that space just get commoditized? I mean, do you see a path to a monopoly there?
Well, again, this is again where you should, attention is all you need. You need to pay attention to who's making money. It's Nvidia. It's the hardware, the chips layer, and then it's just what we it's not what we've done in tech for 30 years.
Meaning that the concentration's been on software and people like him and investors in Silicon Valley haven't been concentrating on chips. So he says he doesn't know much about it. And the focus has been elsewhere while Nvidia's been building and there hasn't been much done in that area since then. That's one of the reasons why they've got such a monopoly on the profits in AI as it kicks in now 2023, 2024.
Are they making 120% of the profits?
I think everybody else is losing money collectively. Yeah, everyone else is just spending money on the computer. So it's one company that's making. I mean, maybe there's a few other people that are making some money. I mean, I assume TSMC and ASML, but yeah, I think everyone else is collectively losing money.
Those companies he mentioned, TMSC, is making money. They've just come out with surprise earnings. Well, not really a surprise, but they're making money. And there are a few, and the rest of the companies, if you think about AI with Microsoft and Google and those mega cap companies, they're actually spending on AI. Meta as well, they're spending a lot on AI while Nvidia is making money because they're buying from Nvidia, of course. So the question is, are the profits going to spread out to other companies, and how long will that take? At the moment, they're just spending and trying to invest money for a return later. But that, as Peter Thiel is saying here, there's just few and far between at the moment. Nvidia and a couple of others involved in the hardware, really.
My model is AI feels like it does feel uncomfortably close to the bubble of 1999. So we haven't invested that much in it, and I want to have more clarity in investing. But the simplistic question is, who's going to make money? I think a year ago, 2 years ago, in retrospect, Nvidia would have been a good buy. I think at this point, everybody, it's sort of too obvious that they're making too much money. Everyone's going to try to copy them on the chip side. Maybe that's straightforward to do. Maybe it's not. But that's, I'd say probably you should if you want to figure out the AI thing, you should not be asking this question about Meta or OpenAI or any of these things. You should really be focusing on the NVIDIA question, the chips question, and the fact that we're not able to focus on that. That tells us something about how we've all been trained. I think NVIDIA got started in 1993.
Yeah.
I believe that was the last year where anybody in their right mind would have studied electrical engineering over computer science. Right? 94, Netscape takes off, and then it's probably a really bad idea to start a semiconductor company even in 93. But the benefit is there was going to be no one would come after you. No talented people started semiconductor companies after 1993 because they all went into software.
Yeah, there you go. So he talks about 1999 there. It's funny that he mentioned 1999 because that was near the end of the bubble. And various analysts are saying that this is going to go on for years yet, and it well could. We've got Warren Buffett, who hasn't been buying much, stacking a lot of cash, which implies that he's wary of what's happening in the economy, and his Buffett indicator is high. So he's stacking cash. It could well go on, but somebody even like Peter Thiel seems pretty reluctant to be investing in AI because of valuations, and there's a lot of funding going in, and he's not a value investor, but he seems like he's not super keen to jump in right now at this stage.
Score their monopoly power.
I think it's quite strong because of this history that I just gave you, where none of us know anything about chips, and then I think the risk. It's always if attention is all that you need. The qualifier to that is when you get started as an actress, as a startup, as a company, you need attention. Then it's desirable to get more, and at some point, attention becomes the worst thing in the world. And there was the one day where Nvidia had the largest market cap in the world earlier this year. And I do think that represented a phase transition. Once that happened, they probably had more attention than was good.
Okay, more attention than was good. That's when a lot of people are looking at these profits they've got and wanting to jump in there. It's not an easy task. It's not just like software where you can kind of replicate what's going on, replicate the business. It's a massive amount of manufacturing and knowledge that goes into these things, but there will be competitors out there. It's a big world, and we'll see how fast that happens. Perhaps one day the cycle, and has been a cyclical industry in the past, will slow down as the stock prices head up and up, and we'll have to see what happens. Peter Thiel is a little bit wary of investing in this sector at the moment. What do you think? Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think he's correct about this? Do you think it's going to go on for longer? Do you see areas to invest in AI right now? Let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, if you got value out of it, do remember to hit that like button to help the algorithm to spread it to more people. Thanks. And I'm going to put a link on screen to what YouTube thinks that you should watch next if you're watching on YouTube. And thanks to everybody for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.